Good morning. In my last video, I talked about deity yoga through reverse goal setting, and I want to expand on that a little today. So, Dr. Becky Kennedy, in her book Good Enough, talks about how we are all born good, period. We're all born good, and we're also navigating all the feelings and emotions that arise. And so what ends up happening is that we're born good, we learn how to move with that feeling. We learn what to do with this feeling. And some of this stewardship is socially acceptable to ourselves, and some of the stewardship is not socially or self-acceptable. This builds the light and dark, or light and shadow aspects of ourselves. So she also agrees that at the root of all doership is feeling. And what I talked about in my last video is the minimum viable structure to navigate feeling through the deity yoga lens using reverse goal setting. Step one is to identify what goal/want, what question and what health concerns you're exploring, and then implement the why question to get to the root of that and see what feeling comes up. And from that feeling, finding an awake deity, awake being who can easily achieve that want or goal, or meet that health concern with ease, or find an answer to that question, and they're able to do it with from awakeness. Then all we have to do is to be like them. So, for instance, say I really want to get through school. I just want to get through school, get this license, get through school. Why? Because I need to prove to myself that I can do it. Why? Because I want to be enough. Why? Right there, that feeling, that stillness emerged, the feeling of not being enough. So, what deity easily feels enough with this flavor of getting through school? I think of one, the Swift Tara. In Chandra Easton's 21 Taras book, she depicts a list of all these Taras who have different flavors and qualities, and then relates that to real life examples of people who exemplify these qualities of the deity. So let's use the Swift Tara in this case. She is awake. First of all these deities are completely awake and liberated, and she has a flavor or a personality or a added benefit of being very swift, being easeful, and finding peace and ease as she navigates the challenges of the world. And so, with regards to getting through school, now we can use reverse goal setting to be like her. And so what do I mean by that? Depending on where you are in your journey with awakeness, one, you could just drop in to awake awareness and um, realize that you are none other than her as well. And your cores are essentially the same. You are made up of none other than the same thing, awake awareness. Therefore, you already have that quality, so long as that um, awake awareness is continued to be seen, to be known. So you can see how this helps with the practice to really focus on awake awareness, because then these qualities just naturally come. So if that's not the case, then we can work with SWOT, we can work with the open road. And what SWOT is strengths, weaknesses, obstacles, and trajectories. We apply SWOT to her, we apply SWOT to us, and then we look at what our resources are. So she has no obstacles, her trajectory is awakeness with the swiftness, her strength is swiftness, she resonates within that, and awakeness. And her weakness is, she has no weaknesses. She's a deity, an awake deity. And you can get more into that kind of thing. But then we can look at ourselves. What are we doing? What are our strengths? What are our weaknesses? What are our obstacles and trajectories? So in my case, my strength is to look at the first principles of things, and then apply them in social and spiritual settings, as well as health practices. At a more fundamental, resonant level, I resonate when I am able to listen and provide care from this awake deity yoga-like experience. My dissonance or my weakness is I struggle to receive care and help unless I see it also benefiting them. Perhaps it's the martyr-servant mindset ingrained in maybe culture or what have you. My obstacles are exemplified through these weaknesses. When I don't recognize my awakeness, that happens when I am dreaming about the future, dreaming about my career, partnerships, or that's about it, career partnerships. And my trajectory is towards Tara, towards the feeling of awakeness that can easily accomplish this feeling, easily meet this feeling of being enough through school. Now, what helps me, what resources me to be like her? One thing I can think of is Chandra Easton's Tanawan Tara's book. Another is just getting to know deities in general. The Magic of Vajrayana by Ken MacLeod helps to really distill the essence of deity yoga and Vajrayana. Michael Tapp's podcasts with Chandra Easton and Ken MacLeod both are very helpful. So resources, they're there. And they can help bolster the understanding of how to move from this awakeness and how to implement deity yoga and reverse goal setting together to find a stronger affinity with whatever it is I am interfacing with. And then to walk that path, walk the movement from who I am and who Tara is the open road. So the acronym here is O, orient, P for prepare or power up, E for engage, N for nurture, R for reflect, D for dedicate. Orient, prepare or power up, engage, nurture, reflect, and dedicate. Okay, so the path towards understanding Green Tara and being like Green Tara is much more like this, ups and downs. And the open road helps to exemplify how to navigate the downs first by orienting. What's it like to be me in this context? I'm in my room. I feel inspired to speak about this. I'm noticing my stomach gurgling. The day is beautiful. I'm orienting my senses internally and externally. P for power up, prepare. This is my best approximation of awake awareness. That is the most powerful power up period to be with awake awareness, to just drop in, because it's from that view that everything is simply arising as and of awake awareness that the work is done. It's period. Other ways to power up are eating well, getting good rest, uh, feeling into friendships and sending metta, mudita, feeling compassion, devotion, mantras. It could even be recognizing what powers me down, like scrolling, and making it really hard to do powering down, making that like the hardest thing by deleting stuff, by turning off the phone when I'm not using it, stuff like that. And then we engage, E for engage, the third step in the open road. So what is it that is causing dissonance? What is it that is the obstacle? Usually it is a feeling. The obstacle is also a feeling. And then we can look at what it is that is doing that. Probably in this case with school, maybe there was a test that I didn't do well on. And so I'm kind of like, this all isn't working, this sucks. Now I'm, okay, reorienting back. This is what it's like to be me. I'm maybe feeling some pride about having to do the practice again. I'm powering up again. Okay, I can just focus on my breath. I can just be with myself. And now let's engage with that feeling from this centered place. Oh, I didn't do well. Well, that's okay, because this is a process, and you know what? I did better than last time, for instance. The trajectory is looking good. Then the fourth step is to nurture. This is about relinquishing doership, about just resting and whatever approximation of awake awareness you have, or just letting things wash over you, is the feeling of just, I'm good, I'm enough, I'm there, so I can just, and sometimes that actually looks like movement. There can be rest within movement. If my flow is vibrant, then I can rest in the flow of that. Like at a rave, I wouldn't just rest, like stop moving when the beat's dropping. I can rest with the beat dropping, and there's a lot of joy in moving with that, for instance. R for reflect. What helped me here? What didn't help me here? What felt aligned? What felt unaligned? This helps build more language with orienting and really the rest of it too. And finally, D for dedicate. Why am I doing this? Oh yeah, to feel enough. Well, what does that help with? Who does that serve? I'm dedicating my enoughness to something. In this case, I'll dedicate it to the Swiftara because it generates gratitude, which helps with the calming of the system and also benefiting of the neurotransmitters and hormones. Sending mudita, it could look like one of my favorites could be repeating the phrase 3 times, may all beings be free from suffering. It could also look like another favorite, Ken McLeod's, goodness comes from this practice I've done, may I not hold it just in me, may it spread to all that is known and awaken good throughout the world. Saying that 3 times. You can really find your own here, what resonates with your heart space, and what propels you to continue to do this work from service, from dedication. You can think of it being like the cover page of your book. Who am I writing this book to? My book of this chapter of my life. Okay, so that's the open road along this reverse goal setting sequence through the lens of deity yoga and getting acquainted with deities from a Western practical lens, maybe self-help lens, lifestyle lens. The last thing I want to talk about is what can we do with feeling? One is to feel the deity that can easily meet that feeling and whatever goal, health concern, or question that feeling moves us to do. The other is to explore. So this is the playground of feelings. What structures help me to explore feelings? Well, the ways that I've done it are, the Diamond Sutra talks about all these worlds as numerous as the trichiliocosm of the grains of sand of the Ganges, and every being is a world, every experience is a world. What I understand that to mean is every experience is a world, and at the root of every experience is a feeling. Could be the feeling of awakeness, could be the feeling of tiredness. That is just an expression of awakeness, because the awakeness is non-dual and all-inclusive and completely diverse and unique. Anyway, feeling. So we can get really creative with this. Mind mapping, movie mind mapping, looking at worlds and zooming in. What does that feeling look like? What does that feeling not look like? While I'm feeling something, what does this want to say? In the case of not being enough, sounds like that. And then that brings me more clarity of, okay, where have I felt that sound before? Where have I heard that sound before? Where have I heard that sound before? As a child, not having a voice, wanting something, not able to get it. Okay. That makes a lot of sense, right? As you can see, I'm probing this with the container of a question. The mind, body, the psychosomatic experience thrives with containers. Containers as playgrounds to explore the structures of the mind. In this case, by asking a question, we are ping on these structures of the mind to see what it outputs. And from this feeling, I'm giving it a sense of, okay, this is the shape. Let's bing this shape. See what? So maybe I've come to an obstacle of, mm, man, I didn't do well on that test. Feeling anger, 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 by the way, is often a protective mechanism for grief or feeling hurt, like the pride, the ego being hurt, that which interfaces with the world socially. Like, this mechanism didn't work. So let's explore that. What is the feeling there? Okay, it sounds like that too. What do you need? I need to do well on this test. Why? Because it tells me I'm enough. And then we can start talking with it. You see, like there's already the inclination to kind of change that feeling. But you are enough. You see all these things? That's not what we're doing here, right? Just like a good friend, a good counsel talking to someone who's going through it, we don't try to change them. We simply ask questions. We can implement motivational interviewing. This acronym is OARS. Open-ended questions, affirmations, reflections, and summaries. So asking open-ended questions. Why don't you feel enough? Because I can't ever do anything right. And already the feeling is starting to see some changes. That's not always the case. And by saying it, we are observing and landing on the fact that this is actually open to change. So OARS, very helpful in navigating the verbal components of feelings. Now let's look at the visual. Let's see, okay, this feeling looks like me. I'm a teenager. I'm also really huge and buff for some reason, maybe like Hulk-like red and kind of like hunkered down like this. That's the body language. And the face looks like this. Okay? And then just watching that, being with that, seeing what naturally arises, how that shape wants to move, wants to do this, you know. And then, okay, there's movement there, there's a flow, and then it keeps doing that, keeps doing that. That is a maybe more dance-like visual. What does this look like from a contextual point of view? Let's look at the world of this. So if that's the expression of the feeling, let's generate the world. Okay. Looks like a burning city, desolate, punching into the ground, more and more and more, punching, until it reaches the core, and suddenly there's this beautiful shining out. And that's often how these visuals end up being. There's a tension release. So if I were to be with this even more, I would see that shining out maybe start to solidify, coalesce, harden, and then become desolate again. So there's wisdom there to see that this is constantly shape-shifting. What else to say here? I guess, to summarize, we talked about we are good enough inherently because we are expressions of awake awareness. We are awake awareness. And what we learn, what to do from the feelings that arise are socially and self-acceptable and maybe socially and self-unacceptable. The point isn't to change these feelings. The point is to be with them. How do we be with them? We can use sights, we can use sounds, we can ask questions, we can ask more questions than ideal parent it, like through motivational interviewing, ORs, open-ended questions, affirmations, reflections, summaries. I encourage you to read the first chapter of motivational interviewing textbooks to get more clarity about this. And we also revisited reverse goal setting and deity yoga, like the um, the deity in this case was Swiftara. I offered resources to interface with deities more effectively. Sean Richton's 21 Taras, Ken McLeod's The Magic of Adriana, Michael Tapp's podcasts with these two. Also, I'll throw in there Peter McEwen with Michael Tapp's podcast. It's a very interesting one. That's Peter McKeown, McEwen, I think. And we also looked at The Open Road, Orient, Prepare or Power Up, Engage, Nurture, Reflect, Dedicate. Also looked at SWOT, that's Strengths, Weaknesses, Obstacles, Trajectories. And kind of compared mine to what I'm trying to be like to achieve this goal, meet this feeling. So coming up on time here, but I think what I'll end with is in Solo Leveling, the anime, there is a part where the main character, there's some spoilers here, who is a necromancer, is just sitting on the Hell Tower eating a sandwich or something while all of his resurrected soldiers look for the next key to raise up in the Hell Tower. This is kind of what it's like to practice deity yoga, where the doer, the central doer, is just resting, and then everything is happening. The world is simply moving, and we build relationships. We can build relationships with that which moves, these deities who are also just resting as awakeness, with certain qualities that help us navigate social dynamics and the feelings that arise. Now, what we're not doing is getting rid of the doer. We are encouraging rest by seeing doership from what is available. We are making it easier for ourselves to navigate our feelings and the context that they arise in, the social dynamics. So, I hope this helps. There's a lot here. I am learning how to maybe not just unload all this information and bite-size it. We'll see what that looks like. I think after getting all this out, it'll be easier for me to just like zoom in and expand. Okay, this is what I mean. These are examples. This is how you can try it. For now, this is what I got. So we're learning. Thanks.